Hi and welcome to the Monday pre-recorded. So yes, obviously the Monday live as we call it, but I'm in Cornwall this week, down in Falmouth, doing an event down there. Then I come back for a week and then I'm off to Tunisia for the Easter. So I'll have a holiday out there as it were, but also we'll have some pre-records as well. So we'll outline that on the calendar for those of you who are members, but I'll try to outline it for you as well. So what have we got? Well, we're doing defence, of course, counting defence, and we are going to have a go at counting the hand this time. So bear with us, not an easy tactic, but we will try to count a hand. On the Fridays, of course, still responding to overcalls, quite interesting in the sense that we saw responding to sort of the one level overcalls with a change of suit last week. We'll be looking at two level overcalls and various other things this time, and the difference between a one level overcall and a two level overcall quite distinct. We've got our usual 5-level decision. I will do the beginners at the end as usual, and a bidding quiz as well, so plenty to look forward to. So I'm in Cornwall, as I say, hopefully having a nice time. No, not sure what the weather forecast is, but last week's teams was interesting. We had a change of player midway through, actually, which was unfortunate, but fortunate as well. So it all worked out well. But it was good fun all to boot. Some interesting hands, some good ones, some bad. This Wednesday, I've done a pre-record. It is me playing with robots. I'm not sure. Have a look. Hopefully some of you will enjoy it or get some joy out of it. The problem is I'm not sure it's real bridge, as they say, or not bridge as we know it. In terms of the events, we've got our usual suspects. So we've got the whole list of them there. But Denham Grove, we've got regular ones there, just in Buckinghamshire. They're just inside the M25. And we've got a variety of different events. You've got the country house events here, where this one is in the Parsford House, New Forest. But we've got our gourmet events and all sorts of different events now. So you've got the chance to pick and choose. And of course, you've got the cruises and the hotels aboard. We've got Mallorca, and I think it's Fran and Graham going on that one. And we've been doing that now for 3 or 4 years. We were trying to do it in COVID as well, but that didn't quite work out. And then, of course, you've got the cruises, and Ingrid's off to Ireland later in the year. She's off to the Azores, actually, quite soon. I think they're seeing the eclipse or something like that, solar eclipse, something like that. Anyway. Okay, so what are we doing first? I've got to remember the order I do things. I think I'm going here. Yeah. So this is the hangover from Friday, and I hang it over again, don't I? Before and after the seminar, as it were. So let's have a look. The auction on this one, interesting. It goes 4 clubs from South, 4 spades, 5 clubs, and it's your bid. So nobody is vulnerable here. South has opened 4 clubs. West overcalls 4 spades. That's your partner. It then goes off 5 clubs. What do you think? Have a little think about it. We're going to have a break and then come back to it. Yeah, interesting. You've got to decide what you think each of the bids are. Okay, let's go for the seminar then. And I'll take you there. Let me just find the right button. There we go. And we're talking about counting defence. And let's start with those basics that we talked about. Why use count signals? Well, we looked at last week, and the start of the seminar that I give, it's all about when to play your aces, to know exactly when to take them. If you know how many cards your partner's got, you add it to yours and dummies, you then know how many declarers got. You can play your ace at the precise time rather than guessing, maybe ducking once and playing it. No, we are going to look for partner signal, take it in and work it out. Ruffing, again, we all know that high-low for a doubleton allows us to find a ruff. That is essentially a type of count signal. Okay. Now, the third element is really tricky, but if we use all the information we can see, we can sometimes count the hand. And of course, by counting declarer's hand, you can see yours, you can see dummies. You can then work out partners. To do this, though, we do have to do a lot of work, and that's what we are going to do today. Let's remind ourselves when the count signal comes up. When do we use them? There are various places, but the most important place, and it comes up all of the time, is when declarer leads a suit. You don't give attitude when declarer's leading a suit. Essentially, unless you have to play a high card, maybe declarer leads the queen and you cover with the king, that's different. But most of the time you follow with a low card, okay? And you can choose which low card you follow with. And we are going to choose carefully, okay? Because we're going to give a count signal. If you play the very lowest card you've got, that suggests an odd number. You play low first, but it's got to be the lowest. Any other card, i.e. a higher card, suggests an even number. So high, low for even, like a doubleton. But when you've got an odd number of cards, whether it's 3, 5 or even 7, you play your very lowest card. Remember, this is not this is not leading, this is following suit to declarer or dummy's lead. So from these holdings, you would follow with the 8 of diamonds. You would follow with the 2 of clubs. Really important. It's got to be the lowest if you've got an odd number. Doesn't matter whether the numbers, the card is even or odd. It is the lowest for an odd number of cards in your holding. And then the last one, wouldn't necessarily play the highest from hearts. Probably play the 7. Don't mind the 6, but the 7. You're trying to make it clear. But the 9 could be valuable on the last hand. I suppose if you had the king, queen, jack, 10 of hearts in dummy, I would play the 9 to make it clear, perhaps, okay? But generally, you'd probably play the second highest from a 4 card suit. But you're not playing the lowest. Remember, playing the lowest shows an odd number. Okay, let's look at a hand then. We're going to take ourselves through this hand and see how we get on. So you're sitting with the West hand. Dummy, you can already see. Obviously, we wouldn't usually be able to see dummy, but we can here. Okay, and we're going to see the bidding. There are 12 points there in the dummy. Okay, so we've got 12 points. South opens 1 diamond. It is your turn to bid with the West cards there. And you shouldn't be bidding. Okay, I know you've got an opening hand, but 2 clubs is a poor bid on this hand. 2 clubs is a poor bid, so we pass. Okay. North bids 1 heart, as you'd expect. 1 spade from South. Okay, you pass again, of course. What would you bid with the North hand now? Well, it's a pretty good hand, but the singleton is in partner suit, so I think I would just bid 4 spades. You might think, wow, that's a lot. Well, you've got 12 points opposite an opening hand. So it's an opening hand opposite an opening hand. You've got to fit in spades, but I'm not sure there's going to be a slam on, so I think 4 spades is enough. So 4 spades ends the auction, and it's going to be your bid. You're not going to double it, but bear in mind, looking at your hand, you do not expect partner to hold much. What would you lead? I mean, you could lead the ace of spades. That is an option. And I know South has bid diamonds, but I'm tempted just to lead my solid holding in diamonds. Certainly not fancying the 10 of hearts here, but I think the jack of diamonds is a reasonable play. Okay, so let's do that. So we lead the jack of diamonds. It goes ace, small from partner, and the 5. And then declare crosses to the ace of hearts. We decide to play high-low from the doubleton, seems reasonable. And then a spade is led. So this is a trick 3. And an expert by trick 2 or trick 3 is hoping to know the full hand. And that is their plan. So let's see if we can try and do that. Okay, now I've let the first 3 tricks. We should really have been working our way through it, but I want to do it all in one go. So we're going to now, at this point, we are going to assess the situation. So let's try to count the hand. So what do we need to do? Well, first let's start with the bidding. Now, of course, we should have already done that, but let's do it now. So the bidding. South has bid 1 diamond followed by 1 spade. Now you do not know how all people bid, but you can ask them. You are allowed to, ask for example, with 2 4-card suits, would you open a diamond or a spade? That can be really important because there will be people who might only have 4 diamonds and 4 spades for this kind of bidding. In standard ACL, of course, we would expect South to be 5-4 most of the time. 5 diamonds and 4 spades. Could be 6 diamonds and 4 spades, of course. Okay. But as I say, some people, depending on their convention, for example, if they play 5-card majors, it's much more likely that they might bid this way if they had 4 diamonds and 4 spades. In fact, in theory, they could, they could just about have 3, well, if they're playing, they might just about be able to have 3 diamonds and 4 spades. It's 4-3-3, but unlikely. But the point is, there are varieties, but if you're playing against a standard ACL sequence, you'd be placing South with 5-4 most of the time. Okay, and that's crucial. So, most of the time I've got in my mind, Declarer's got 5-4, so that's 9 of Declarer's cards already counted. Does that make sense? So, we've only got 4 other cards to count. And of course, as you'll have noticed, we've had one of the suits led. So let's look at the tricks now. So we've seen the bidding, we've predicted this. So let's look at trick 1. Now, trick 1, it is really important that you did the leading. You did the leading. And therefore, your partner will not be giving count necessarily. Generally, he would give attitude. In theory, some of you, because it's a singleton ace in dummy, might give a suit preference signal, etc. The only difficulty with that is, on this particular hand, you don't expect partner to have much. So he's not probably going to want to signal much, if that makes sense. So, for me, the 2 of diamonds is just saying I don't have much in diamonds, partner. So it wouldn't surprise me if Declare was sitting there with the king, queen of diamonds, which is quite likely anyway. Okay, so on your lead, you expect generally an attitude signal. As I say, I'm sure some of you in the audience would, because it was an ace singleton played, might play a different signal here. But remember, your partner's not got much strength. So, but in theory, the 2 of diamonds might ask for a club, but I can't see him holding much. So trick 1 is pretty much ambivalent, hasn't told us much, just told us our partner's weak in diamonds. What about trick 2? Let's have a look. Well, the 7 of hearts was led to the ace. We played the 10, obviously, but our partner played the 5. Now, for me, he should be giving count. Okay. Now, remember, people often ask me, is the 5 high or low? And most people think it's a low card, and it is a relatively low card. But what we're trying to work out here is not whether the 5 is low or high. We're trying to work out whether the 5 is our partner's lowest heart. Is the 5 your partner's lowest heart? Because if he has an odd number of hearts, he will play the lowest heart. If he has an even number of hearts, he should follow with a higher one. Okay. And the question here for me is, okay, where are the 2, the 3 and the 4? And crucially, South cannot hold them all. Because if South had the ace, 4, 3, 2, he'd have supported hearts, wouldn't he? Okay, he would have had 4 hearts. So our partner must have 1, or at least I have a feeling he might have all of them, but we'll see. He must have at least one of the 2, 3 and 4. So he has not played his lowest heart. And that means he has an even number of cards in hearts. Are you happy with that? Cool, this is hard work. Okay, there was 6 cards between us and dummy. Our partner has an even number. So he has either 4 or 6. So Declarer has an odd number. Okay, so Declarer has 1 or 3, basically. Okay, remember there was 6 between us and dummy, with the 10-6 and the King 9-8-7. Partner has an even number. So let's say it was 4, that would leave 3 for Declarer. Partner could have 6, and that would leave 1 for Declarer. Okay, does that make sense? Hard work, but it's worth it if we get there. Partner has played a higher heart. Not a high heart, I agree, but a higher heart. Okay. So at trick 2, Declare has an odd number of hearts, is what we've worked out. So at this point, I am placing Declare with either the shape 4-3-5-1 or 4-1-5-3. That's in suit order, ranking order. So 4 spades, either 4 spades, 3 hearts, 5 diamonds and 1 club, or 4 spades, 1 heart, 5 diamonds and 3 clubs. Okay, so a couple of things are left to Declare's points. Well, let's just check what we think he's got. Okay, he's got nothing in spades. Okay, you know, although he's bid spades, we can see the ace king in our hand and the queen jack in dummy, if that makes sense. He's got the ace of hearts and he's got the king queen of diamonds, so he probably just got some extra points in the 3 card holding. So we'll either have I don't know, king jack of clubs or the queen jack of hearts, and that makes an opening bid. Remember, he opened the bidding, so you've just got to make sure you place that. If he had the ace queen jack of hearts, would he be playing hearts? I mean, which is more likely, I think, is the key here. Also, what you need to say to yourself is, how on earth can I make an extra trick? You're going to make your 3 tricks, your ace king of spades, the ace of clubs. Okay, but how on earth can you make an extra trick? Okay, so let's look at the hand now and just go through everything we've said. We have said that that Declare either has the ace queen jack of hearts and a singleton club, or he has a singleton ace of hearts and king jack to 3 clubs. Okay, well, if he's got a singleton club and lovely hearts and lovely diamonds, I can't see us doing much damage here. He's going to have lots of heart tricks, lots of diamond tricks, and he can ruff 1 club, and that will be the end of that. So we'll just make 3 tricks. However, if Declare has 3 clubs, king jack to 3 clubs, ace of hearts singleton and the king queen to 5 diamonds, if we add up all the clubs around the table, that makes 5 clubs in ours, 4 in dummy, 3 in Declare's hand. That leaves just 1. So when the 4 of spades is led, we can win that trick, cash the ace of clubs, and hopefully partner can ruff it, because remember, we expect the spades to be 4-4, South's second suit for spades. So if we win this first trick, we're hoping to be able to give partner a ruff. Okay, so that's, remember, you don't have to get the contract down necessarily playing pairs, but your calculation is such. So let's do that. Let's win the trick. And we cash the ace of clubs. Okay. And that fells Declare's king. Well, that's not the end of the world. I mean, you know, we've already worked out that we think Declare was probably going to make the rest anyway. However, do you trust yourself or do you trust Declare? And that's what's crucial here. Do not be distracted. A good Declare, if Declare's got king, jack and another club, will throw the king underneath because he wants you to think he's got a singleton. But I'm sticking by my guns and I'm going to lead another club. Okay, an ambivalent middle club there. And our partner does indeed ruff that club. So there is the full hand. It is a tricky one. I can't exaggerate that more. I mean, you know, counting defense is a really tough topic. It's relatively easy to work out when to take your specific ace, but to counter full hand is tough. You'll see me doing this a lot when I play teams. I try to do it and you'll see me go wrong. You'll see me put a lot of effort in and then eventually find we're wrong. But sometimes when you get it right, it's a beautiful feeling. It really is a beautiful feeling when you're able to find that perfect defense. So here we have placed Declare with 5 diamonds, 4 spades, partner. Notice partner played the 5 of hearts there, a great play. So you can see the 5 of hearts in his hand, in the east hand there. He's got not much to do. If you do play suit preference on that first one, the 2 of diamonds, the problem is you can't really ask for a club lead as east. You don't really want one if partner's got, you only want one if he's got the ace. Because if partner leads away from the king of clubs here, he's giving away a trick. So let's say we had had the king of clubs as West, and we think, oh, partner wants a club. Of course, we'd been leading it in to declare as ace-jack, and that would be a disaster. It may well give us the setting trick away, as it were. So it's all well and good thinking, oh yeah, I would have played the 2 and partner would know that's for a club. I'm not sure you can necessarily. So if you were giving suit preference, you might choose a middle diamond, if that makes sense, to play on the first trick, to avoid partner actually switching to any given suit. Should Declare have just led the queen of spades out? That would have disguised our holding? Yes, possibly, but he felt the safest way because his spades aren't exactly good. And if spades break 4-1, he's worried. So he thought the best thing to do would be to cross to the ace of hearts and play a small spade towards the queen jack, just in case perhaps West had ace king 9 to 4, and he wanted to pick them up, as it were. Or maybe the ace king's the other way. He's trying his best to try and pick them up. Or maybe he's looking to find a singleton somewhere, singleton ace or king somewhere. But anyway, the heart lead did give us the extra information. East playing the 5 is a great play. Partner, I've got an even number, and sometimes it will be 6, as here. And that told us of the suits breaking 3-1. And I think if Declare had had ace queen jack there, I don't think he'd have bothered, because he'd be too risky, maybe playing a heart. Remember, he's got to give up two trump tricks. So if he had ace queen jack of hearts and wanted to cross over, by the time he'd play a spade, Declare the defence could win the ace, play another heart, and then when they win the king, it wouldn't be a surprise that they would get a ruff. So I think once a heart is played, the most likely holding Declare has is the one we can see here. 5 diamonds, 4 spades, 3 clubs and a singleton, ace of hearts. So that's that. That is counting the hand. We will look at another variety of it as we move on to sort of the end of the month, as it were. But it is a really tricky topic. As I say, do watch me on the Wednesdays and see the odd time it'll come up. Not this particular Wednesday, I should advise. That won't be quite in the realm of that. But certainly on most of the live Wednesdays, I love trying to counter hand. Best time to practice with others playing rubber bridge, so that you can practice and you've got as much time as you want. Playing live, as you could see, we took quite a long time counting that hand. Okay, it takes time to get used to. As you get better at it, you'll be amazed at how quick you can do it if you count to 13 quickly. Okay, well, let's go back to this one. So this was the 5-level decision. It's gone 4 clubs from South, weak bid. I expect maybe 8 clubs, something like that. 4 spades from our partner, strong bid. 5 clubs from North, no idea. We don't really know that. Usually it's going to be preemptive, but it could be strong. But we've got to rely, and this is important, West should not be just bidding 4 spades on a weak hand. Even if you're dealt king, queen, jack to 8 with a 6 count, you must pass. Okay, don't preempt a preempt. People often ask what that means. It means don't make a bid against a preempt with a preemptive style hand, as in a weak hand, because your partner, East here, that's us, relies on your bid being reasonably strong. So for me, it's our hand, and I don't think I particularly want partner to go on here. I'm going to double. Okay, I believe that if partner's got a decent hand, I've got 1 or 2 tricks, either 1 diamond or 2 diamonds, because of course partner could be short. I haven't got particularly good spade support. I might be able to make a ruff with that holding, but surely I've got to do something. I expect our hand. Okay, so let's look at the full hand, and you can see, and we'll see if we agree with the bidding. I think it's just going to go pass now. Yep. Okay, so sorry, it switches your cards around once it knows what trumps are, so sorry about that. Turns out we've got a simple 4 tricks against their contract, haven't we? You can see the 8 clubs in the south hand. I know it's a little bit ropey, but non-vulnerable against non-vulnerable, I think 4 clubs is a reasonable bid. 4 spades, you see, West is forced to guess, and 4 spades looks a reasonable bid. Could North have just doubled that? I don't think so, and I think North's done the right thing. I know he's got queen to 4, but the chances are his partner's short in spades. And so, as you can see, what he'll do is I think the defence will make 3 tricks. They'll make 1 club, 1 heart and 1 spade. They can't quite draw dummies trumps, can they? If they could draw dummies trumps, they might even stop 4 spades. But 4 spades is going to make, so well done North. 5 clubs is a good sacrifice. But it's important that we double. If we pass, what does West do? Because West can't be sure what 5 clubs is. North could be bidding 5 clubs to make. Put the ace of diamonds in the North hand, and North is thinking, yeah, we've got a good chance here. Okay, so I'm not sure it's easy for West to double here. And if you pass, West might think, well, I might only make 1 spade and 1 heart here. I've got no reason to think that's necessarily going down. So it's important that East does the doubling. And as I say, we're going to make a heart, a spade and a couple of diamonds. So 2 off is worth 300. It's a good sacrifice. So well done everybody, as it were. North has done, I think South's done the wide opening bid. West has done a good overcall. 5 clubs is great from North. We've doubled and we've got 300 points rather than giving away 50 if we bid 5 spades. And I have a feeling North might be tempted to double 5 spades as well, and lead the king of hearts out. And they're going to then definitely make at least 3 tricks. As long as West pursues, I think West needs to pursue a club bluff. And if he does, then he makes sure that they only lose 1 club, 1 heart and 1 spade. So I think that's an interesting one. 5 level decisions. Remember, my reminder to you, of course, is that if you get more than half right, you're doing well. Obviously, we'd love to get 65, 70% of them right. But I mean, 55% is pretty good. And the important thing, as is often said by bridge commentators, make your opponents make the last guess. Now, if they guess right, there's nothing you can do. But if every time they make a guess, you then bid again, you make their life easy. Because even if their guess was wrong, it becomes right if you bid again. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that. Let's have a look at the bidding quiz to finish us off. Remember, you can see the answer to this on the website, whether you're a member or a non-member. Just put your email in. And of course, I should be asking, why are you not a member? Do come and join us. Try it out. It's worth it. Don't forget, if you try it out and you fancy a bridge event, you get a 5% discount off your bridge events. So it's definitely worth trying it. 1 spade. 2 no trumps by your partner. That's the unusual 2 no trumps, showing both minors, pass. And it's your bid, love all. So 1 spade, 2 no trumps from your partner, pass. And it's your bid. Okay, good luck with that one. And hopefully see you next week. Remember, I'm recording all week this week, but I am back next week. So thank you for your company. If you want to stay with me for the beginners, you are welcome to do that. If not, enjoy the rest of your week. Let me go back there. Okay, so we are the partner of the leader, and we looked at this last week and we said, playing the right card, we generally play our highest card. And the exception we looked at was when we play the lowest of touching cards. And I'll show you that again just to remind you. What we're going to look at today, though, is how cards in dummy are going to affect this play. Okay, so let's remind ourselves of the one we did last time, which was this one. We saw this holding, the 5 was led, and the partner of the leader, the 3rd player, played the lower of touching, which is very unusual in bridge. It's one of the only times you do it. And the reason we do that is because when declarer plays the ace, when we are on opening lead, we know who's got the queen now. We've led the 5. Declarer's won the ace and not the queen. Why didn't declarer win with the queen? Well, he didn't win with the queen because he hasn't got it. So I would win the next trick and play a club. So what I'm going to do is put a card in dummy now and see how that might affect it. So your partner leads. Dummy holds the king 4-3 and you hold the ace queen jack. Wouldn't it be lovely if dummy played the king? If dummy played the king, you could kill it with the ace, And you would then have the queen and jack, and life is easy. However, dummy does not play the king. Dummy plays small. Which card would you play? And again, we're looking at the lowest card that could win the trick. So clearly the ace can win the trick, but because you know where the king is, you should win this trick with the lower. You know that the queen and jack cannot be beaten because the king is visible and that hand is already played. Can you see that? So you do not have to play the ace to win this trick. Your queen and jack would also win the trick. Does that make sense? So the important thing is you play the jack. Because if you play the jack, when that wins the trick, your partner will place you with the ace and queen. So you would change suit. Hopefully your partner gets the lead again. And he would then lead another club, knowing that Declarer would have won the queen or the ace, surely. So he can then come back. Okay, so there you go. There's the layout of the suit. The 5 was led. The jack won the first trick. You switch suits. Eventually, the opening leader gets the lead with the ace of hearts and he can lead another club. And you make sure you swallow the king of clubs. If you had played the queen there, well, then later on, your partner will be thinking, well, Declarer's got the jack and he's got the king. There's no point in me really leading it. Partner's only ever going to win the ace. Okay, so be a little bit careful. Okay, let's change it. Ace, queen, 10. So the 5 is led. What would you play here? And generally you play with the lowest you know is going to win the trick. Okay, and so here you would play the queen because you don't know the 10 is going to win the trick. Now, as we get more advanced, you might place your partner with the jack. That is different. That's a slightly more advanced element. Here, I'm going to play the queen to win the trick. Okay, later on, your partner can get the lead and lead another one, hoping that we've got the 10. Because he's got the jack, but we weren't sure of that. So we play the queen to win the trick. We know the queen will win, remember. Once dummy's played, the queen can't be beaten because we can see the king. Okay, how about this one? Dummy's got the jack, and again, dummy plays low. Second hand low is really important, and you'll see dummy do this a lot. It puts the pressure on you. So your partner's led the 5, dummy has played a small one. What would you play from queen, 10, 9? Well, when you surround a card, again, you know the 9 is, or 10 is as good a card as the queen here. Does that make sense? The 9 and 10 can only be beaten by the king and the ace because the jack has the hand with the jack has already played. So, of course, you've got to play the 10 or 9 here. And what we've said is when we've got touching cards, we play the lowest. So you play the lowest of touching equals. Well, what on earth does that mean? Well, the queen, 10 and 9 are equals here because they surround the jack. Now, that's a tough thing to take in, but because dummy has already played, the queen, 10 and 9 are the equivalent in value. The only card that can beat them is the king or the ace. So we should play the lowest one we can, and that means we play the 9. Does that make sense? Okay, so we play the 9, and Declarer wins the ace. Now that's interesting. Well, look at this layout. Look at the layout. Let's look at the full layout. Here's the full layout. Your partner hasn't got a particularly good club holding, just the king. But look what happens on that first trick. Let's put it out again. It went 5, 3, 9, ace. And of course your partner thinks to himself, well, why is Declarer won with the ace? Why didn't he win the trick with the 10 or the queen? But of course we know, don't we? He didn't win it with the queen or 10 because he hasn't got the queen or 10. So our partner, when the ace is forced to win it, will place you with the queen 10. Yeah? So, of course, when he gets on lead again, he'll go, oh, yes, I'm definitely going to lead that. He'll lead a small one to your queen, and then the king, and we take the 3 tricks because you played the 9. Imagine you played the queen instead. Well, the queen gets killed by the ace, and partner will be thinking, oh, that's a shame. De Clough's probably got the 10 here. He's got quite strong in the suit. Or if you played the 10, well, your partner wouldn't know who had the 9. Okay, he'd still be okay on this particular occasion. But always try to play the lowest of touching cards, third in hand, remember. Third in hand. So when you surround a card in dummy, your cards are lent extra power. So having that Queen 10-9 around dummy is a lovely holding. So some difficult ideas there. Difficult ideas. Defense is tricky. It's out of the box. We're going to stick with it. We're going to stick with these ideas of playing third in hand and see how we get on. Hope you enjoyed that, and see you again next week.